No. In English?
Hi guys, good morning. So my name is Jade, or Jade, and I'm going to talk about the galaxy. Why I chose this subject? Because I think there's a lot of things to talk about. So, and I love like looking to the sky at night, stuff like that. So, do you remember I was like, oh my god, what I'm going to talk about? And it's like I'm going to talk about friends or I'm going to talk about something else. But then I chose that and I just love it and I learned so much with this project and yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to talk about health. Yeah. So my introduction. So in the ancient civilization, everything was a mix of religion and culture. So every time it rained, for example, people look it up and thought maybe there's a god commanding. Or when the plantation wasn't working, they thought maybe the god is, I forgot, is punishing us. So yeah, everything was a mix of that. And what they thought, so that civilization, they thought that the earth was the center of the universe and everything was circling around it. And it's worth to point that other theory that says that the man is the center, it is the center of the universe, like that. No, just kidding. Yeah, is that it? The man is the center of the universe. And that's called the anthropocentrism. So it's like to link the two theories. So you guys can see that for that civilization, the earth was made to satisfy the human pleasure. So it's like to point out. But then Copernicus he was born, and then he started to study, and then he found out that actually the sun was the center of the universe. And then when he told the church and everybody got crazy, and he was like, oh my God, you're crazy, and and then he died, and then Galileo Galilei, he came and he was inspired by Copernicus' idea. And then he developed a telescope. And then he continued to study the first idea, and then he proved that in fact the sun was the center of the universe. But the church didn't accept that theory first. And then he was pursued by the church, he was accused of heresy, and then he was prohibited from publishing the manuscripts. But a couple of years passed and he died again, and only in 1642 the church couldn't stop the revolution, and then that theory, the heliocentric theory, was accepted. So that's the beautiful God over here, and that's the heliocentric theory. So here we got the planets. What NASA says about the planets. So I pick up. A real planet must orbit a star, in Earth's case, the sun. It has to be really big to have enough gravity to force into a spherical shape, and it must be big enough that its gravity clear away any other objects of a similar size near its orbit around the sun. So that's basically what NASA tells us about what a planet is. But I'm going to talk about some curiosities about the planet. Do you guys know that the first discovered planet was the Uranus? It was the first one, and it was in 1781. So the guy named William Herschel, he was just looking to the sky, and he saw something like moving, something like that. And then he started to search for that, and then he found out. And then the second one was Neptune. And then, of course, a lot of scientists came and found out the other one. But it's really common people to mix and to confuse the planets in the sky with the stars. So it's really difficult to really know which one it is. So, yeah. So, some history now. The name of the planets was given by the Romans. So they named the planets, they named 5 planets that they could see with naked eye. So they named after Jupiter, which is the biggest planet, and was honoring the main Roman god. And then we have Mars, which is the god of war. And we have Mercury, which is the messenger of gods. The Saturn, which is linked to the god of the agriculture. And finally Venus, which was namely honoring the god of love and beauty. And yeah, that's a little story. So now I'm going to talk about specifically about each planet specifically. So we have Mercury, so it's the closest planet to the sun, so it's really hot in there. You're not gonna want to go there. And it has no atmosphere, so yes, you can't leave it there. You can't. So then we have Venus. That's Mercury, and it's as hot as Mercury, and the atmosphere is really toxic. So it has atmosphere, but it's toxic. So you're not gonna live there too. And then we have Earth, which is and then we have and then we have it's moving. And then we have the Earth, which is the only harbor planet, and our atmosphere has oxygen and nitrogen. Yeah, that's right, because I forgot the name. And then we have the oceans that provide us water. That's why we're here. Wow, nice. And then we have Mars. That's a beautiful picture of Mars, right? And so it's cold there because it's not that close to the sun as we are now. But I think there's someone living there and no one's telling us. And the atmosphere is really slim, preventing the existence of liquid water. But they're trying to find now. You know that, right? And then we have Jupiter. Jupiter, the atmosphere is basically hydrogen and helium. And that little thing over here, which is like a spot, actually is a big storm that is going on there all the time. So it's raining and it has a big storm there happening all the time over here. That's why it's here. When I saw that, I felt crazy. I thought, wow, that's so nice. Yes, I love it. Nice. And then we have Saturn here. Oh, I'm sorry for that, you guys. So its atmosphere also made with hydrogen and helium. And there is no certainty about the components of the ring. So they can't tell us what that is component with. No. And then we have Uranus and Neptune, which was the first planet discovered. And the blue, the both of us is given to the, no, I said everything wrong. So there is a lot of methane here in here. And that's why the planet is blue, not because it has water, because it don't. So, yeah. So now the stars and the constellations. Yeah. So, as you guys probably know, these stars, they are luminous balls of gas floating around the sky every night. So beautiful, so beautiful. I love looking to the sky and see those little things. And it helped the ancient people to locate in the sea. And now it helped the scientists to understand our galaxy, because there's a lot of things you can search from the stars. Yeah, that's it. That's why it has the astronomy and astrology. And so, how a star is born. I'm going to talk about little things. There's a lot of things going on there. And at birth takes place inside hydrogen-based dust clouds called the nebulae. So that's the first phase that I call. And then there's a lot of pressure and high temperature involved. And then after passing the nebulae phase, it goes to the protostar and then the T-tower phase. And that the substance goes to the longest stage of a star's life, which is called the main sequence. So as you guys can know, as you guys can see here, these stars, they are not white. So they could be blue and they could be red and white. And so that's really nice, huh? So it all depends on the temperature and the energy it's giving inside the star going on there. So we have the red dwarf stars and then we have the blue dwarf stars too. But they're not small, they're really big. They are I think they're bigger to the sun. So as you guys can see, there is a lot, there are billions of stars in the galaxy. So the galaxy is really big, as you guys can see. And the star glow, it can be measured with the scientists called the magnitude. So the magnitude, the higher the magnitude, the brighter the star is. So the constellation, now coming back to the history again. So the Greeks believe that the stars, the constellations, they should be named after their heroes. So when the heroes die, they put the name on the constellations to honor and to always remember those things. But if when I first thought about talking about constellations, there will be a lot of history, But then I found out there's a lot of creepy histories involved, like rape, and, that it's not good. So, yeah, that's not good. But the constellation, scientifically speaking now, the constellations are clusters of stars, and also turn around one specific point called the pole star, which I don't know the name of it, I forgot now, sorry. And not all can be seen with naked eyes, but some of them is really easy to see at night. So yeah, I'll talk about, okay. And then we have the zodiac. The zodiac is defined by 12 constellations that can be found on the circular zone of the terrestrial sphere. The zodiac is composed by Aries, Taurus, Gemini, I don't know, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Yeah, that's right. So I think you guys probably know from astrology, and a lot of people mold their lives according to the position of the stars, and it's another thing. So yeah, so nowadays the constellations, they're used by the scientists to find new things about our galaxy, which is amazing, right? Oh, I love the moon, right? I do love the moon. So now we all know that the moon is a natural satellite of Earth, and it's going with us all day, all night. And yeah. Oh no, come here. Oh, and the scientist tells us there is no activity going on there. So there is no water, there is no air. So that's why the moon is called the dead star. That's not nice, but it's true. It's dead. So the moon can be explained as a big mirror that reflects the sunlight. So it's really, it brights all night because of the sun that's reflecting somewhere, somehow. I don't know how. But the moon moves. That's right. When I was a child, I was in the car. I told you that. I was in the car and I was looking, and I told my mom, "Oh my God, Mom, the moon is following me." And I feel so bad that night. But then she told me it's normal. You have to accept that. And I was like, okay. And then I love the moon. Yeah, but there are 3 movements. So the moon moves 3 times, like, you know what I mean. So we have the rotation, the revolution, and orbital motion. And mixing those movements with the Earth movements, it equals. We can't see the other side of the moon. That's called the dark side of the moon. But one Soviet spaceship came there and tells us that the sun goes there just as it's come to that part, that side, but we can't see the other part because of the movements mixed with the other movements, and that's why. But the other side's not something creepy, doesn't have ETs on it, ovnis, nothing like that, and yeah, it's white. Okay, so the phases of the moon, they're created by the change of the angles of the Earth, as you guys know. And then we are new moon, full moon, first quarter, and third quarter, and the phases in between. So, ancient people developed many ideas based on the phases of the moon, and it's still worth it now. So like cutting your hair in some kind of, in some phase, like you can, I don't know, I don't remember now. Oh, I saw something that people can relate it suicidal thoughts, or when, for example, I'm gonna kill you, so I kill you, but it was new moon, so it's okay because, you know, it has everything.
Because of the new moon.
Yeah, it's because of the moon.
It's the moon.
Yeah, but it's really confused, so don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, I think that's it. What about talk about the moon? So our galaxy, finally. Our galaxy, as you probably know, it's called the Milky Way. Why the Milky Way? I think, and I searched a little bit, because in ancient times too, there's no, you know, light, there's no industry, there's no nothing. And then people look it up and saw those, I don't know, a pasty thing in the sky, and I don't know, I think they realized it looks like milk or something, and then they put the Milky Way, and it's still there. So, nice. And, yeah, so the Milky Way is a part of a collection of galaxies called the Local Group. I think it's more 5, I think it's 4 galaxies. The Local Group is composed by 5 galaxies, so it's really big, really big. So, yeah. So the scientist tells us that in the heart of our galaxy there's a huge black hole living there, and which is way bigger than the sun and everything that we know. Now, okay. So, do you know what a black hole is? Of course, it's a black hole. So, it's a volume of space where gravity is extreme enough to prevent the escape of even the fastest moving particles. So even the light can't find the way out. So if you go there, you're not gonna come back. So don't go there. Yeah. So the scientists have a theory that says that one day that black hole will swallow our galaxy. So you're gonna die. But I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I think it will, because I don't know. And yeah, probably will happen, and just wait for it. Yeah. talking about some more beautiful stuff that we can find in our galaxies. So we have the comets, the asteroids, the meteoroids, and one comet is a big ball of ice, basically, which has a lot of gas and ice made a comet. And then we have the asteroids and the meteoroids. They're basically the same thing. They are space rocks circling around, but the meteoroids are smaller. So yeah, that's basically what I had to tell, and thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my project. I'm super nervous right now. So yeah, I do love my galaxy.